How a simple mindset shift made me financially free. Hello and welcome. For years, I wished to have financial freedom. To have enough to pay for my bills without worry. I wished and prayed for it to happen. I went online in search of ways to make money. In my scrolling, I came across videos which suggested of techniques to manifest everything we can think of. I was desperate, so whichever technique someone recommended, you bet I did them all. I can't even name all the techniques I did, and frankly some of them are embarrassing to think of, so I will skip naming them. When fear and worry is driving you, you become so perceptive to information. To all information and advice that in the long run may turn out not so helpful. But you listen anyway and are willing to try, just to have a relief and experience something different. However, not all the technique I did turned out to be woo-woo crap. Many are very helpful and are backed by science. So with time I stuck with some, which are visualization, meditation, affirmation, and scripting. With these techniques, they helps me to be in a positive state. Feel hopeful and motivated to achieve my dreams. They have since become part of my routine. Those days, I could read success stories of people from different walks of life. How these techniques had changed their lives and felt very optimistic that they would manifest for me massive money. Little did I know, techniques helps you to a certain level. I spent years visualizing being rich and living the life of my dreams. But the sad thing was, I couldn't manifest it. I was stuck and frustrated, and for years, I couldn't understand why. I was doing all the things they were recommending, but why was my life not changing? Why am I not seeing the results? I asked myself. So one day, I made a decision. I had reached a point where I had nothing to lose. My financial state was so bad that I was barely making ends meet. So I decided being in that state, I was suffering. Creating my new state would be uncomfortable, but at least I had hope that one day I might get out of the rat race. So I decided to go all in. I gave myself no way out. Before, I had quitted on myself so many times. But this time, I wouldn't. I would do anything and everything possible to create the life I desired. I knew it wouldn't be easy. I would face obstacles on the way, but the biggest obstacle I knew was overcoming myself. Overcoming my limiting beliefs, old conditioning and habits that did not serve me, but I was ready for a change. I would suffer my way to glory or suffer being the same for my entire life. And the thought of being stuck in the rat race scared me more. I looked at my life and decided, enough was enough, something had to change. I decided and committed myself to whatever help that comes my way, I would take it regardless of the packaging. I knew deep within me that I needed help. I needed knowledge and I needed guidance. I did know where all these would come from, but I trusted in one thing. I have always believed, what we seek, we find. Someone somewhere has what I need and somehow I would find it. Or they would find me. At that time, I didn't know how that choice and decision had altered my life. How it had shaped my life and would put me into a new trajectory. What I knew was, I wasn't willing to live the rest of my life the same way. I was tired of feeling worried and afraid all the time. Being worried of how I would pay my bills and feeling afraid because I knew I wouldn't be able to pay for all. Every time I had to give up one thing for another. I had to pay one bill over another, leaving it for a later date, of which I didn't know when it will be. This would cause me to feel helpless and desperate. I wished I could find a magic formula to make money. Many people online seemed to be making money effortlessly. What I didn't know was, the result I was seeing from them was as a result of mindset change and effort they had put in, which I was not ready and willing to change or do. Many a times I daydreamed about winning a lottery or having someone give me massive money. This exercise would give me some relief for a few minutes, then I would go back to face the reality. So I decided to go all in and began my self-development journey. And thereafter, I started an online business. After hustling for a few months with little to no results, something inside me clicked. At this time, I had consumed everything I could find about money. I read books, watched countless videos about wealth creation. I listened to podcasts and audios. What I didn't know at the time, though I had no visible results, something inside me was changing. Every information that goes to our brain does something to our mind. It shapes how we think, therefore influencing our behavior, which then affects our results and achievements. I have heard this, but being the person I was before, I couldn't understand it. At first, I was looking for a magic formula to make money and make money fast. So I would watch a video or read a book and move on to the next, never ever stopping to implement the information that I was consuming. Other times, I would get an idea to start something or do something, but when I didn't see results fast enough, I would then quit on it and go to another one. So this day I was scrolling like I used to. Again I saw the video. It was from Sadhguru. Something about the video made me stop and listen, really internalizing what he was saying. And voila! It clicked. I couldn't believe I had the answer all along. I had heard it before so many times. It had been said to me so many times, by so many different people and in so many different ways. How could I not get it? Was I blocking it, or was I not ready back then to receive it? I now believe it's both scenarios. And I will explain why in a minute. In this video, Sadhguru asked, how can you manifest your dream life if you keep changing your mind every few minutes? How can you arrive to your desired destination if you keep changing direction every few minutes? And voila! There it was. My answer. The reason why I did not see results was, I did not stick with something long enough for it to manifest, for it to actualize and materialize. I kept doubting and changing my mind so many times, therefore, all my energy to create was misplaced. I could never focus on one thing long enough, giving it enough energy to be created to a physical reality. And we all know that where focus and attention goes, then there is energy. And where there is energy, creation happens. So when we keep on changing our mind, we misplace our energy, therefore we create nothing. At least nothing of what we truly desire. So let me explain the statement again, because I know many people are in this loop of misplacing their energy. And I want you, my dear viewer, to get it right, and not be stuck like I was for so many years. Let me use an example. Think of it this way. You wake up one day and decide to move to a different location. Let's call this location Town A. You do your due diligence and find that in order to arrive to this location, you need to head west. So you take a bus heading west to Town A. Halfway there, you begin to wonder, is going to Town A really the best decision? Why is it taking forever to get there? At that time, the bus gets a puncture and you guys stop for a few hours. Seated there, you begin to feel tired and can't wait to be on the road. Back on the road, a few kilometers further, someone seated next to you tells you a story of a town that seems to offer what you were heading to Town A for. So you decide to alight and head to Town B. Upon arriving Town B, you find the town don't have everything you thought you would find. But someone in Town B recommends you of Town C. They think you might have luck there, and so you head to Town C. Mind you, all these towns are at the opposite direction of Town A. When you arrive at Town C, you find it's not at all what you thought would be. At this moment, you are out of money. You feel so tired with all the traveling and the frustration of countless disappointment that you met with, that you decide to settle there. You convince your mind you have bad luck. You tell yourself that good things are not for you, and end up making yourself feel unworthy. You go to an extra step to look for someone to blame for your misfortune. You blame the bus driver for not checking their tires and have them changed before setting for the road. You blame the passenger who told you of Town B. And lastly, you blame Town C for not being what you expected it to be. Does this scenario sound familiar? Guess what? That is how we operate in our life. We all have great ideas. A great idea that can change our life and that of other people. But what do we do with these ideas? Some people never even get to the bus, meaning they don't attempt on working on the idea. Others get into the bus, but halfway there, they start to question. Is this really the right bus? Am I really going to get to Town A? When are we going to arrive in Town A? Meaning, they start working on the idea, but halfway, when they face challenges and don't see results fast enough, they question the idea and abandon it, soon after. And this two groups of people makes the majority of our human population. It's only the people that decide to get into the bus, take the whole journey, no matter how long it takes, that gets to enjoy the destination and all it has to offer. It doesn't matter what happened along the way. The question you should ask yourself is, are you willing to stick with your idea until you see it actualize? Are you willing to give your all, give focus and attention to your idea? Are you willing to give up everything to see your dream come true? Are you willing to work on something even when you don't see the results? Operating only in hope and belief that it will one day be something great and will make you money and proud. How committed are you to see change and experience a different life? For a very long time, I would decide to do something, but as soon as an obstacle arose, I would give up on it. I would find excuses one after the other. And better yet, I would find someone or something to blame. I never really took the responsibility of the choices and the results that I was getting. It was always someone or something to blame. It was only when I committed to myself to grow that I understood this. At the start of my financial journey, I did some business like I said before and did not make any money. I invested some money and lost it all, but something within me would not quit. I fell down, but I wouldn't stay down. I would get back up and look for ways to move ahead. And it's this stubborn mindset that got me financial freedom. And it's this precise mindset that the successful wealthy people have that got them to where they are today. They face challenges, but they don't quit. Warren Buffett in one of his newsletters said, among all the investment he has made in his lifetime, only 12 counts. This guy has been investment for more than 70 years. Guess how many investment must he have invested in all those years? It's very easy to quit and point fingers. It's easier to look for something or someone to blame on the outside, other than pointing to ourselves. But it's when we begin to take responsibility of our choices, decision, and results that we find solutions. The day I decided something had to change. What I didn't know was, I was going against who I had been for a long time. I was going against the known and what felt familiar, to pushing through the unknown. I was pushing through the unknown and the uncomfortable to make something happen. To create something that I had not experienced before but knew it existed. I had seen others get it and live it. The only thing I needed was to convince my mind I could have it and I deserve it too. And this was met with resistance. My mind fighting me all the way. But I kept going. This feeling, everyone feels it. Everyone faces it when they decide to be different, to think different and achieve different. Many people give up. It's only a few that pushes through, and they are the ones that others refers to extraordinary. But the truth is, these are people who refuse to give up on themselves and their ideas, and the world celebrates them for it. At the beginning of this journey, I had no money to hire a coach nor buy a program that would help me out. I relied on the free materials that I found. I knew I had to program my mind with new information in order to create a different life. So every book I read, every video I watched, it was changing something within me. It was teaching me resilience, to bank on myself and to believe in me. To believe something was happening even though it was yet to be evident on the surface level. I remembered of a Chinese bamboo tree. It stays in the ground for several years, but once out it grows to 35 feet a day. I would constantly remind myself of Usain Bolt words. Behind the scenes is the toughest. And these is what I want to impress in your mind. It may be tough, but it's not impossible. So my dear viewers, if financial freedom is what you seek, you will have to be willing to go all in. To give up complaining and blaming. To give up the excuses and focus on your goals. The journey won't be easy, but it's either you stay in the state that you are in now or you make a decision to create something different for yourself. It's not easy to get up and start all over again, especially if all you have experienced is failed attempts, being driven only by hope and belief of a better future. But I can assure you, it's going to be worth it. Put yourself in the uncomfortable for a few months or a few years, pushing through the unknown, and you will reap a lifetime of benefits. And if you are in for a while, you have been working on yourself, your business, your health, your money, or your dream, and you feel like giving up, please don't give up. Where you are today, many people have been there too. They felt the fear, the worry, and the desperation to make something happen, and persisted on. They made a call to a few more clients, they approached a few more people, and they showed up one more day, tired, hungry, sad, and broke. It didn't matter how they felt, but they did it anyway, and universe responded. If you are in this journey, you may feel like you are alone. But I can assure you, you are not alone. Whether you seek to make $1,000, $10,000, $1 million, or $1 billion, the journey is the same. Someone trying to figure out how to raise $10 million for a company startup is feeling the same pressure as someone who is trying to make $1,000. The only determining factor that will determine their success is their mindset. And if they believe they can and give it their all, then they will succeed. When someone believes that they can achieve something, it gives them the courage to try. It gives them courage and confidence to knock on a door that may be scary to some, to even think of. So my dear viewers, make a decision today and commit yourself to that decision. Decide no matter what happens, you will push through, you will do anything and everything possible to achieve your dream. You will read the books that you need to read. You will seek the knowledge that you need to move to the next level. That you will work on your ideas, even on weekends if it requires you to. You will go out and pitch your ideas to the world, even if you get rejected by some. You will look for solutions instead of dwelling in the problems. You will give up beliefs and limitations that you have placed on yourself that hinders your growth. And when you do that, I promise you, you will be amazed by the life you create for yourself. A life that others can only dream of. And one day, you will stand in front of a crowd or a mirror and say, like Snoop Dogg, "I want to thank me for showing up for me and never giving up on me." And that day you will realize the power to change and create the best life was within you all along. If you have come this far, comment down below. I am going all in. It's either I win or I win. No more giving up on myself. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you on the next video.